PC. Okay. Okay, well, hello everybody, and welcome back to Reader's Warehouse Recommends, which we're calling Book Buzz at the moment. For the next 5 weeks, we are doing pre-recorded episodes for you, so you don't have to miss out on some book recommendations. How we're going to do it now for the next 5 weeks is we're going to be highlighting big books coming out for the first 6 months of 2024. And joining me today, we have a familiar guest. Maybe you've seen him before, Vis Chetty from Penguin Random House. He's one of the sales managers over there. In 2023, there were some really amazing big books from Penguin Random House. Some that come to mind, we started in January with Spare from Prince Harry, and that book, you couldn't go anywhere in the news or in a bookshop and you would hear about this book. Other great titles that came out this year was the standalone Jojo Moyes book, Someone Else's Shoes. That was very popular about two characters taking the wrong pair of shoes at gym. Another big book was The Year of the Locust by Terry Hayes. As I was speaking to Viz, Truth to Power by Honor Narrator was a huge book. A huge book club book was a debut by Shelly Reid called Grow as a River, which was a great seller. And then, of course, there was a great range of other local titles like the Corin Dudley's cookbook Onwards. But today, Viz is going to be telling us about the first 6 months of 2024, what big books he wants to let us know about that will be available at Reader's Warehouse. Any titles that are listed that we can pre-order, and we'll list them below in the video. So you'll be able to look on the comments and add the titles to place an order or to add it to your wish list so you can be notified when it is published. So Viz, thanks so much for your time, and over to you for your titles.
Oh, thank you, Thomas, and hello to all the viewers and whoever's watching this. I'm so excited to share this with you guys. I'm just going to quickly jump on there. I hope you can see that.
Yep.
Okay. Right. So as Thomas has mentioned, we've had a fantastic year. We've been very lucky with good authors, good books that came in, some surprises, some big ones that came in, and we've had a really good year, and we've been very blessed with that. So long may it continue. I'm going to take you through to the January to June 2024 titles. I just want to put a quick disclaimer out. Some of them are still very new. We haven't seen manuscripts or anything just yet, so some of them are still in the rough, but this is just to give you a sense of what's to come. And I'm gonna give you some storylines and things where I can. So yeah, let's jump right into it.
Great.
Cool. Right, then starting in January 2024, we've got a local title. I wanted to start with local. So Karen Paolillo is the author of A Hippo Love Story. She did that book with us years and years ago. It came in, and it's sort of for the reader of like 101 Kruger Tales and Elephant in My Kitchen. That sort of reader would love the sort of nature narratives, as we would like to call it. Now, the Hippo Love Story was written at a time when she started her Hippo Sanctuary and the years doing that. And this book, Hippos, a Mongoose and Me, is the 10 years since the publication of that book to this book. So it's filling up gaps, really. And what it is, it includes little stories, just sort of exactly like, as I said, 101 Kruger Tales, where it's her time in the bush. She spent more time in the bush than in the settings that we know, you and I know, like in suburbs or houses. So she's so attached to this world, and she's got tons and tons of stories. So we said to her, would you mind doing another book for us? Do you have? She was like, yeah, I've got plenty. And then she put this book together for us, and so we're very excited. We haven't done a proper nature narrative in a while, so we're hoping that this will do something. Now, people will probably go, some people will go away in Jan, some people will come back from holidays in Jan. So for those readers who are missing the holiday that they just went on, this might be a gap filler there. And then maybe ones that are maybe on the way out of the country, they could pick this up. So I could see different types of readers picking up a book like this. And some of the stories in here are quite interesting and grueling and funny. And yeah, it's really interesting. So I'm very excited about this one.
Yeah, and her previous book was the huge seller. So I remember it coming out and how I just kept selling and selling. So I definitely think that, it's great to have something like this coming from Penguin. So a great title.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, Rose.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, it's lovely to have her back on the list. And we hope that we would be able to do one with her again. And finally, this year, she came through.
Great.
Right, now going on to February. Thomas, I just want to say this was not an easy list to put together. We've got so much coming. You probably have a sense already. We as we get through it, we're going to get to trade and media in Jan. We'll have much more on there. So I just want it's a very short list, but
these are the ones you picked, which is great.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Right, cool. Right, big one for us, big acquisition for Penguin Random House. Alex Michaelides is the author of The Silent Patient and the Maidens. You know The Silent Patient. Everybody loved that. It was a big, big seller. Everybody just adored the style of writing, the storyline. It's very much the same in this one. There's even a little nod in the end to The Silent Patient in terms of the characterization. So when you get to that, you'll know it if you've read The Silent Patient. So it's fantastic. So how it starts is it's all set on this Greek island just off the coast of Mykonos. So it's another island just off Mykonos, and this very popular actress has invited her friends, her best friend. She's obviously there with a partner and a son, and she invites all of them to come over for Easter for the weekend to this island. And during the course of that stay, it's set up in 4 acts, and at the end of the first act, someone is murdered. There's only 7 people on the island, so you don't. It could be one of 7 people, one of the 6 other people. So the book takes you through who all these people could be, but he does it so well. Where halfway through, or less than halfway through, he kind of completely flips the whole story on you, and you kept in the dark throughout the whole way until the end. And then he sort of peels back layers. If you look at that cover, it's sort of a reference to that. As you go through the story, he sort of peels back layers and layers of the days leading up to the time they came onto the island and when someone was murdered. It's a masterful thriller. He writes so well, and we are so happy to have him on our list. I think again, the people who love The Silent Patient are going to love this one. It's a bit of a return, I think, for him. I know The Maidens, there was mixed feelings about that book, but this one, I think, it's sort of back to form for him, Alex Michaelides.
Yeah, and I think this is like a perfect book for book clubs. Perfect if you read The Silent Patient. If you haven't read The Silent Patient, this is a great book. And then also it's coming out in February, which is still summertime in Cape Town. So it's a great book to,
Nice.
go out and read. So yeah.
Absolutely, it's your perfect poolside, beachfront read, wherever you're relaxing, sit down, have a glass of wine or whatever it is. This is the one. It's good. It's going to be so exciting. I'm so keen to see what the reading public feel about it, because in-house in Penguin, everybody loved it. There were so many proofs that went out. Everybody just adored it. Right. And then in March, I wanted to put in Women's Murder Club. The 24th Hour is the name of the book, with Maxine Pietro. If you don't know anything about Women's Murder Club, it's one of Patterson's bigger brands. So if you think Patterson's brands and his most popular series, it's obviously Alex Cross comes to mind. Private comes to mind in a certain sense. This one, 24th Hour, is also one of the bigger ones on his massive catalog. If you don't know anything about it, it's 4 women. Lindsay, who's a policewoman, she's a sergeant. Claire, who's a medical examiner. Yuki, who's a district attorney, assistant district attorney, and Cindy, who's a reporter. And these 4 women sort of form the Women's Murder Club. And they're out in New York, they're celebrating one night, and there's an assault, someone gets murdered, and these 4 women are chucked into this case, and it just heats up as it goes along. So if you like that sort of fast-paced commercial thriller, this is one. We're very proud of James Patterson, what we've done with him. I think Women's Murder Club has been one of the series that's been pretty consistent over the years, and the new one's going to be nonetheless. It's going to be great. So let's see.
Yeah, I think it's great that it comes out like in the early half of the year and it just sells all the way up to Christmas every year. So definitely a great, probably for us, probably second best series after Alex Cross. So definitely, and it's one of these series we don't have to read book 1. You can start off straight away and you can see it's a new investigation and the characters intermingling together to work together to solve the case. So.
Absolutely, yeah. It's you're right. You're right that you can pick it up anywhere, and then you'll sort of want to go back and finish up and read the other books in the series, or read them in whatever order you want to. It's fantastic. Consistent is the word for this series. Right, and then Diane Bibby, we did a cookbook with her. Oh, she did a cookbook like a couple of years ago. She wasn't with us at the time, and she swore she'd never do another cookbook again. And eventually, at the end of last year, early this year, she approached our lifestyle publisher and said, "Listen, I think I've got one more book in me." And when we read the introduction to the book, she talks about how she actually never thought she'd have another book, but somehow during COVID and things like that, people had more time. So all these recipes started forming. And she eventually came up with a brand new one, which is exquisite, by the way. It's such a great book if you want to keep, if you're a cookbook collector. I've made a few now who people will just buy them to collect. She does sort of home style cooking, but it's deceptively hard, if easy, if I put it that way. So it looks hard, but it's easy to do. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
So the recipes are done in a way where it looks really impressive, and if you nail it, people in your company would be, or at home would be, wow, how did you do that? But it's actually not very hard. Her steps are short. There's some amazing recipes in there. So it's home style cooking with a bit of a sophistication and flair, which is great. Like I said, this book will appeal to people who collect cookbooks, who actually want to cook from them, and also people who maybe want to gift it because it's so good looking. So it's going to serve a wide range of readership and buyer in this range. So yeah, we can't wait to see what she does on there as well. Very excited to have her.
Yeah, it's almost like if you want to up your cooking skills as well. This is like a book to go for. It sounds fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah. That dish on the cover is actually like it's made out of figs. So it's a sort of sweet side that she sort of created, like a sauce almost. People have asked me, what is that? And it's like, so it's made out of figs. It's like a syrup that she makes up that goes with other things. So yeah, like I said, but you look at it and you think, well, that looks like it may be hard to nail, but I've looked at some of the steps and they're quite easy. There's one in there for a leopard chocolate cake, which has eat some more biscuits in it. And it's a non-baked cake, so you don't actually bake it. You just set it and fridge it and eat it afterwards. And I looked at it and I thought, wow, I could probably do that. I could try it. So that's what I'm going to do this holiday.
Okay, wow, sounds amazing. And this is coming at a great time for Mother's Day, I guess, as well, because this is a March release, I think it is. So just coming
That's right.
for, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful.
Perfect. Yeah. Right. And then also in March, Charles Duhigg, you'll know him from The Power of Habit, which was a huge book. I mean, if you look at any list, not just South Africa, but globally, you look at any nonfiction list, that book will always come up in at least the top 10, top 15, always. So The Power of Habit was a big book for a lot of people. I know I read it at a time when I was reading a lot of nonfiction, and I thoroughly loved it. And it's one of those ones that just stuck with me over the years. So this book, Super Communicators, as the title suggests, is all about understanding connection, understanding how to communicate, understanding how to read people. It's all these things put together. I think it has a really, really great potential in our market. Who doesn't want everything is communication? We're doing it right now. So the better you are as a communicator, it opens your world up to so many different things. And I think relationships, business, it affects everything. So I'm personally really excited about this book. I think it's going to be one of our better nonfiction books for next year and going forward. So I can see this one coming in. It'll do what it does itself, and then it'll sort of backlist all the way through until a paperback comes out. So think about books like Quiet. I'm thinking about books like Chris Voss's book on negotiation, that sort of stuff. I'm thinking along those lines. And yeah, he's big enough as a name now to carry that sort of sales.
Yeah, no, I think it's going to be a great, also like for corporate gifting, for if you want to buy something for like your older brother or for a dad or uncle or something, in their business, this is like a really great book. I think people will know his name, straight away, and then and the new title, which is great to get.
Yeah. No, he's fantastic, and I think we're really excited to see what this does. I think this will keep going for a while to come. So big book for us here. Right, and then Cal Newport. Now, we never published him before, so another one of those authors that have come over to Penguin. He did digital minimalism. His area of studies, sort of technology and how it affects us in terms of attention and productivity and that sort of thing. So the previous books that he did focused a lot on that sort of things. And I think in the day and age that you and I live in now, people need it. They need it now more than ever. With all the distractions that we have. So this book, Slow Productivity, The Lost Art of Accomplishment Without Burnout, is all about how can you be more productive without burning out. Like it's now December, people are wiped out, they're exhausted from the year. So how do you get to the end of the year of a work year and not be completely wiped out? So this is all about how during the year, how you manage your energies, how you manage techniques that you could use to be more productive without killing yourself, that kind of thing. So again, another one, very topical. Everybody's focused on this sort of thing right now. They want to be better. They want to not be burnt out by the end of the year, I guess, or anytime. So this book will teach you how to do that. He's very, very well recognized in the States. Over here, he's been a bit slower, I think, in sort of sales. But having said that, I think there's lots of potential with him, and he's a great writer. If you haven't read Digital Minimalism, I remember reading that, and I thought, oh, this guy really, really knows what he's talking about. So yeah, let's see what this does. I think with him being with us, we could do a lot more with him as well. So I'm waiting to see what happens here.
Yeah, I have to also say that like burnout has been such a buzzword this year. Like I've seen so many articles, even in the publishing industry, about people talking about burnout, and so I think this is coming out at the perfect time. I think because a lot of people and companies are trying to assess people's burnout and productivity, and so this is like I think it's coming out at the perfect time.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think lots of companies now, modern progressive companies, are giving staff me days where you say, okay, just take a free day, relax, come back, in a couple of days or a day. And so they're doing that because of the same thing. They don't want people to be burnt out and lose focus and, make mistakes and all that sort of stuff. So all that sort of things stems from of being burnt out. We've all been there in some degree or the other. So yeah, this is a very topical and important book for us.
Great. Thanks, Vis.
Right. And then we're going to April. Big, 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 big publication for us. You probably have heard about it. It was all over the publishing world. He's decided to move to Penguin. The last book was the 5 a.m. Club. That book just kept selling and selling, and it just keeps going, and people love it. I mean, it's probably over 80,000 copies now in the country, just here, which is huge for us. So we decided we were given the opportunity to bring him on board for Penguin, and we took it with both hands, and we got this book, and we are super, super excited about it. The Wealth Money Can't Buy. He says on a video that we saw, it's the most important book that he's written to date. That's his own words. You'll probably see it in videos and things that in the video that we have later on down the line. The monk, everybody knows, in The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari, the 5 a.m. Club, people just love these. So The Wealth Money Can't Buy is all about, it's, as it says, it's in the title, but he gives you 8 principles, 8 other things that could make your life wholesome and meaningful. That's the word, meaningful. So that's what this book is about. It's sort of a very holistic way of looking at success, I think. And that's what this is. We are so excited to have him. We are going to throw everything at this title in terms of media, publicity. You're going to see it everywhere, and it's going to be a year-long campaign. So we're gonna really try and get the word out that Robin Sharma is now a Penguin, and he's done this amazing book, and we want people to buy it and want people to read it and gift it and all that. So yeah, big book for us. I've started reading it, and it's wonderfully written. He does it in his style, which is he has these little stories and vignettes that he sort of puts together to teach you the principles of what he's trying to say. So it's a lovely read as well. You probably know, the 5 a.m. Club must have been really good for Reader's Warehouse as well. Kept going.
I think there's South Africa definitely have a huge following for Robin Sharma. I think that's just like they are super fans for his books, and I think the 5 a.m. Club really it's been a global thing now that people wake up at 5 a.m. to start their day, and and like the Monk Source Ferrari has been huge, and I think definitely has a huge fan base here. I know people are going to be. And it's been a while since this 5 a.m. Club. It's been a while since his new book. So I think this is definitely, going to be like very well received. I think people are very excited.
I think so. Yeah, I think so. And he said in his video, and you'll probably see it in our trade media in Fib, is he loves South Africa. He's always loved coming here. So he'll probably be in the country at some stage early next year. We tried to do some things with him and bring him in for some of the festivals, but we're going to see how it goes with his schedule. If he can come in, even if it's not next year, probably be early the year after, that would be fantastic. So yeah, this is going to be a huge deal for us for the whole of next year. So let's see how we go with this. But I think we're going to do really well with it. Yeah.
Exciting.
Right. And then adult title by Lee Bardugo, The Familiar. This was also when this came out and people saw the cover, they were just blown away by it, and they just loved it. And it's really it's quite an interesting novel set in Spain, and it's about this girl who's sort of a maid in this household, but she has these powers. So there's a bit of magical realism to it, but not so much so that if you're not a fantasy reader, or if you're not into that sort of, it'll be distracting. No, it's done in a very, very delicate way. She has these powers, and her um let's say owners um take the opportunity to elevate themselves using this power that she has. She's sort of a cleaner. She just uses it as she's in her work around the house, but then they realize there's more to it. And obviously, as the novel goes on, other people want to take advantage of this, and this sets her off on a whole new journey. It's sort of a coming of age story as well. It's gorgeous. We just saw the early proofs that came in a couple of weeks ago, last week actually, and we'll get it out to the trade and things. But we started reading it, and it's just amazing. So big one, another big one for us. She hasn't done very many adult novels, so this is up there. So I think it's going to appeal to that wide fan base. So the younger market that she initially wrote for, and then obviously the adult market who haven't read her before, for instance, they'll probably pick this one up from here. So yeah, big one.
Yeah, very exciting.
Yeah. Righto. All right, and then Warren Ingram is back. We love Warren Ingram at Penguin Random House. We've done such great books with him. If you don't remember, How to Make Your First Million, How to Become Your Own Financial Advisor was a big one. Then last year or the year before, we did one called Global Investing, Your Guide to Global Investing, which is a very different book. It's for people who were already probably into investing a little bit, and they wanted to know more about that. So it was a very different book to the first two books. Now this book, I think, plays back into the readership of How to Make Your First Million and Become Your Own Financial Advisor. And I say that because he's got Mark Rokachnik in there, who's a qualified psychologist. And I think what he realized is that, he has the principles of how to make and retain and invest money. But money is not always that sort of cut and dry. There's a lot of gray when it comes to money. There's an emotional aspect to it as well. So that's where he brought Mark in as a psychologist. So what he does is, in the book, he profiles you and say, what type of spender are you? The overspender? Are you the underspender? Are you the optimist? He breaks down everybody into a certain profile, and then just so you can recognize it, but you might be a combination of these profiles as well. And then he says, okay, if that's where you fit, then this is sort of some changes that you could do to better your situation. And it's not just finance, it could be any other aspects of your life as well. It's a very interesting book. It's, like I said, it's going to play right back into his initial readership who loved him from the first two books. So I'm also very happy to have this one. Very excited to see what happens. Yeah, and I mean, to have him back on the list next year, it's going to be exciting. We're going to be around him, probably going to show up at some of the festivals and things like that. So very excited to see what happens here.
Yeah, and Warren Ingram, he is on the radio. He's in interviews all the time. People looking for advice or information on things changing in the financial sector or in South Africa. He's always one of the people that gets asked for their opinion and their thoughts. And I think it almost reminds me a little bit of Atomic Habit with the small changes thing. The small changes to make big results.
That's it.
And it's just like just simple small steps, things to do. It's no like go cold water or go cold turkey. It's just basically slow and
Sustainable things.
the lasting success.
Yeah, he quotes Atomic Habits, even Tiny Habits. Remember that book, Tiny Habits, we did as well. That's also very similar to what they've done here. He talks about how when he got married, he came back home from his honeymoon. The pictures came through from the wedding, and he had this big fight with the photographer. He thought that the photographer had messed up the pictures from the wedding. And then he realized the photographer did not mess the pictures up. He was just overweight, and he didn't really recognize it. So it all started, as he says in the book, it all started with measuring cups. And what he means is they saw a nutritionist, they had a plan, and everything that he consumed was now first placed in measuring cups. And that's how he changed his whole diet. He lost a lot of weight. He started running. He said when he started running, he couldn't even walk 3Ks, let alone run. So he had to walk for like 10 minutes, and that became 15, and that became 20, and that kind of, and eventually he started running up to a 5K, and then further. So it's little things that you start somewhere and then make that sustainable so that you can build on it. that's basically what it is. So I think it's a fantastic book, and I
Yeah.
think it's sort of back to basics for him. Yeah. Right, then coming in May, we're almost through here. We're only going to June. I wish I can go all through way to the end of the year, but we're going to June. As I said, not a lot of information as yet on this one, but Marianne Keyes, we've done again Rachel earlier this year, I think it was, and then Grown Ups last year. She has a huge fan base here, absolutely huge. The last time we met is a brand new one by Marianne Keyes that's coming in May. Like you said, again, May in time for Mother's Day, so it's gonna be wonderful as well to have her back in there. Okay.
And I know for her, I always say to even Gabby that works with Penguin, I'm so amazed how fans just love Mankeys. The fans just come out, and her books
Yep.
just sell so well. And just like her and Jojo Moyes, the fan base just, it will sell, like
Yeah.
for months after it's been released. And I know when she announced this, I think a few weeks ago, like last week, I think it was, on her social media, I know Twitter almost crashed. Everyone was so
Yep.
excited for it and sending her so much love, because they were so happy that she had a new standalone. So yeah, I'm very excited.
Absolutely. She's one of those authors that she's consistent. She'll always give you a good book. So you never let down and say, oh, I didn't like that one. Every book is really very consistent, very good. You always, and like you said, there's legions of fans in South Africa, and all those fans are gonna love picking up the new one next year. Yeah. Right, and then Think Twice by Harlan Coben is a brand new Myron Boliter, if I'm not mistaken. It's number 12 in the series. Harlan Coben as well. We've grown so much. The TV series, there's been so many TV series that hit Netflix and Amazon Prime. There's a new one now on Amazon Prime as well. I think it's called Shelter, if I'm not mistaken, and it's a prequel to the Myron Boliter story. So this one, again, brand new one. People for some reason love the Myron Boliter series, and not for some reason. I know why. It's really, really good. It's fun. It's entertaining. Harlan does what he does best. He gives you quick, sharp thrillers, well written, well paced, good storylines, good characters. He's really solid as a writer, and we're very lucky to have him. I remember when I read The Boy from the Woods, that a couple of years ago, just before lockdown, I think it was, and I hadn't read him much before. Maybe I read a few earlier ones. But when I picked that one up, I was like, okay, I get it. I know why this guy's so big now. And I became a huge fan. And now, this one, again, brand new Myron Boliter series. It's one of those series you pick up, you're going to start reading, and then you want to read all of them. You're going to go looking for all the Myron Boliter books. So that's kind of what we hope here. So great to have
Yeah,
him back.
I was going to say that I know many customers who we've given them a Harlan Coben read and they've gone back and read as many as they could. They're
Yeah.
just fine. And just the way the sharp writing, the character development, I think, and the twists that, that Harlan, and I think that Maddie's writing so many years now, he really is at the best he's been, in the game of writing. So yeah, really
Yeah.
excited for a new one.
You're absolutely right. I mean, he's such a solid writer. It's sort of like what we spoke about Marianne Keyes. I mean, he's such a solid writer. He always delivers. I've read one bad book really. They're all just so good. You become a fan instantly. I always tell this to Nikia, the product manager for Harlan. I always tell Nick, if you give anyone Harlan Coben, they become a fan instantly. It's like you read one, you love it. You want to read all, you become a fan. He's like that kind of author. So yeah, very excited to have a new
I
Myron
think it's also
Boliter.
one of, if you haven't read him before, but you've read other like crime writers like Jeffrey Deaver or James Patterson or Lee Child or any of those, then this is an author you definitely should attempt to read one and just take a look, because you'll really really be surprised and happy, and then you've got a whole lot of different books to read.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, and then this one. Okay, so you all know Sally Andrew. We've done so many things with her. We've got so many more plans coming for her. The fifth book in the series is coming the year after next. We've just successfully signed her for the fifth book. We're really excited about that. She's so consistent. I looked at the numbers. 8 out of 10 books that go into the trade or that go into a store will sell out. So that's a huge turnaround in terms of stock. And then I looked at it and I thought, this is how popular she is. You put 10 books in, you'll sell 8, and eventually you'll sell the other 2 as well. But she does so well for us, so why not do more with her? So this year we've done the the bind up, which was a great. I think you guys have taken quite a bit of that as well. We thought it would be nice to package all of them just before Christmas. If someone was to, let's say, someone wanted to read her or want to gift her, it'll be the perfect gift. You can just buy all 4 books at a discounted price. Boom, there you go. Start reading. So what we're doing with this one is the Tani Maria cookbook. So how it works is all the recipes that are in the books. So if you remember all the novels, the back had all these great recipes. Those recipes, those stories are in the book. And then even, let's just say somewhere along the line in one of the novels, someone even mentions a certain recipe, but it's not at the back of the book. That's in this book. That's how it is. It's beautifully put together, shot. Each page has like the agony aunt letters that come through to her. So it's got the letter and then it's got her responses to that. So her writing back. And then on the other side, you've got the actual recipe. So it's very much in line with the novels. I think people who are fans of the series are going to, like Kav says, they're going to die for this one. They're going to pick this up. People want to gift it. People want to cook from it. If you look at it, I looked at it, I said, okay, as a cookbook, what is it? Like, what type of recipes is it? And it's very sort of traditional, think Karoo, South African style, home cooking, that sort of recipes. It's not reinventing the wheel. It's just traditional good stuff that people have been cooking for many, many, many years. But now it's in this packaging with Tani Maria behind it. So we're so excited. Sally actually said to us, my whole objective at the beginning of it all was to do a cookbook. And it just so happens, I had to give you guys 4 good novels to get this one done. But it's finally here, and we're super excited about it. This will be a huge focus for us next year in terms of publicity, marketing. All her fans are waiting for it. So, yeah, look out for this one. It's going to do really well. Really,
I think it's going to be a lot of fun, especially those who have read the books and are waiting for the next one. This is like going to be a great and inspired to cook the food. And now, if you had some of the recipes from the book, now you'll have it in full color. Which is going to be really great.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So
It's peppered in with photography as well. So you've got like photography, as you see on the cover there, of like the Karoo or whatever, and then in front of that is the letters. So like the letters are done. You can actually read the letters. It's done in such an interesting, beautiful way, and I think it's such a great testament to the novels and for the fans of the novels. And I think that our lifestyle. I always say this to my team: our lifestyle team, and the other divisions like Nature. We've got world-class publishers in house. And they do amazing work. Every cookbook they do has got so much of heart. They never, they never do anything halfway. It's always everything in the kitchen sink thrown at it. And our designers go and sit with authors, and they go and sit with, like, if let's say we got an author that has a restaurant, we're doing a cookbook. Our designer will go to that author's restaurant and spend a week and a half staying with them, being with them, photographing, and spending as much time with them before they even start putting the book together. So I mean, we really go all out, and we haven't half-assed anything with this one.
Sounds like we have to start a reality book show with that, like the behind the scenes of making the book. Sounds like a plan.
That is such a good idea, and I'm actually hoping we could do something like that. We have talked about it in-house. It would be such a great, because people want to see, they want to see how it was all put together. You know what I mean? So fantastic. I mean, I was looking at an article this morning. If I could just indulge me a little bit, we did this diary a couple of years ago, the Murakami diary. And Susan Dean, who's the head designer at Vintage, wrote an article on the Penguin UK page on how they put it all together and what they just to say this is what we put together. They got a professional calligraphy artist to come in and do certain things in the diary, and I just thought that would be such a great thing for something like this, where we can say this is the backstory of these things. So good idea. We will look at it. Okay, then we're going into June.
The last month, let's see. Okay. Oh yeah, this book was being huge when it was announced in America. It was like very, very big.
Every time, I mean, with Gabriel Garcia Marquez, there's always one last novel or two that gets found and put together. Michael Crichton started writing this book, Eruptions. It's a volcano eruption in the States, and all the nightmares that come with that. And the manuscript could only have been completed by the ultimate thriller writer, James Patterson. And this is going to be something really interesting to see how people love Michael Crichton. right? And who's better than to finish it up than James Patterson? So I think it's a perfect combination. Our guys have done such a great job to acquire this one. Well, to bring this one to print. I mean, James loves us to bits, so we're very excited. Great thriller. If you think about his collaborations with big names like Bill Clinton and Dolly Parton and that sort of thing, this is kind of where I'm seeing the pickup on this one as well. So yeah, very exciting one for us. And then the last one is, I think it's the second last one actually, Tilly Cole, 1,000 Broken Pieces. We've done a few novels with her now. She's very well loved. If you think about that book talk market, she's one of the standouts on that sort of platform, and the style of writing. 1,000 Boy Kisses. This is a follow-up to that. So fantastic book for us here for Tilly Cole. Nice to have a brand new one from her next year as well in June.
All right, is that all of them?
And that's about it, actually. Yeah, that's about it. And we've got so much more, Thomas. We really, it's hard to put a list like this together, but as the months go in, early next year, like I said, we've got trade media, we've got catalogs going on, so you guys will have a solid idea of what's coming, if not already. But yeah, it's going to be an amazing year next year as well.
Well, thank you so much for cherry picking those titles. I have to say I didn't know about all of them, so it's really great to see.
Okay, good.
And as Vis said, some titles might move out slightly later next year, so we'll keep you posted on those. But any titles that we can put on pre-order, we'll list them below in the comment section. So if you want to take a look at them on our website, if you want to add them to your cart or add them to your wish list, you'll be able to. Any titles we don't list, you'll just have to wait a little bit longer, but they will be coming. So Vis, thanks so much for making the time and telling us about some of the 2024 titles. And we'll be back.
It's my pleasure.
Great. And then we'll be back next week with another Highline selection. So we'll see you then, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.
Thank you, Thomas. Thank you, guys. Bye.